بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم سيدنا محمد عليه أفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yesterday we went over, talking about food, talking about Allah Azza wa Jal, that He created the food. Today we're going to talk about water. And subhanallah, Allah Azza wa Jal says, وَجَعَلْنَا مِنَ الْمَاءِ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ حَيٍّ. That we made every single thing, that every single living thing is from water. And if you think about water, subhanallah, is the most abundant thing in earth. That if you look at earth, they say it's 70%, which is give and take. 70% of the whole world is water. And they said, like, even that much in our body, that every single cell that need water. And Allah Azza wa Jal create that water. That water itself, it has a magic. Subhanallah. Water has no taste. It has no, no raiha, no smell, and no color. Can you imagine that? That Allah Azza wa Jal create water that everybody needs, and Allah Azza wa Jal make it suitable for every single living thing, and that Allah Azza wa Jal, with His mercy, that make water has no taste, make water has no smell, make water has color. Can you imagine if the water has taste? Not everybody will drink it. Can you imagine if this water has, color? Not everybody will suit it. It's not suitable for everyone. Can you imagine if the water has, like has smell? Can you imagine that? But with the mercy of Allah Azza wa Jal, He made that water just in a magical that has no taste, no smell, and no color. And it's not that Allah He created even the water. The water can be solid. It can form as an ice. Can be liquid. It can, again, the way it is in most shape it's liquid, and can be gas. It can evaporate and it can come back. Allah Azza wa Jalla created. Allah Azza wa Jalla said, وَخَلَقَ الْمَاءَ وَخَلَقَ مِنَ الْمَاءِ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ حَيٍّ وَجَعَلْنَا مِنَ الْمَاءِ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ حَيٍّ. There is another ayah. Allah Azza wa Jalla said, وَخَلَقَ كُلَّ دَابَّةٍ مِنْ مَاءٍ. That all the creation that need that magical fluid, which is water. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَأَنزَلْنَا مِنَ الْمُعْصِرَاتِ ماء ثجاجا. For what? لنخرج به حبا ونباتا وجنات ألفافا. It means without water we have no jannat. If you notice that when Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned Jannah, the first thing we mentioned, what is it? Anhar, rivers. And what He mentioned, trees, which is need the water. Allah Azza wa Jal, even subhanallah, that we are connected to water, that we like water. We like to play with water. We like to hear water. We like to see water. That's what Allah Azza wa Jal. And again, look, even Allah Azza wa Jal have a special character that in Allah Azza wa Jal there is some water, that it doesn't mix with other water. Allah Azza wa Jal says, "Marj al-bahrayni yaltaqiyan, baynahuma barzakhun la yabghiyan." Some of the water, subhanallah, Allah Azza wa Jal make them, they don't mix. You found like water is salty and water pure. You put them together, and probably your sight in your eye when you are like in the ocean or you look at it, you see that little barrier between two water. Can you imagine that? What kind of special creation is that? That Allah Azza wa Jal created every single thing from water. We need water. And Allah Azza wa Jal make that water that the most, the essential and the essence of life, it's free. It rains everywhere. It rains everywhere, and water is everywhere, and the most of it is everywhere. And now, us as a human being, we make the most expensive fluid now is water. When you go, subhanallah, when you go to Kroger, you go to Publix, when you buy a bottle of water, it's more expensive than gas. You know that. I seen a water that goes up to $4.99 a bottle, which is 16 ounces. Can you imagine that? And that's what their brothers and sisters, when you look at the water and reflect on that water, subhanallah, that Allah created that water that has no shape, It has no color. It has no taste. It doesn't have no smell. It takes every shape, and it takes, subhanallah, that water, we put it in any shape, it will take that shape. Can you imagine if Allah Azza wa Jal send us that water, it's not pure? Can you imagine if our water is malhun ujaj? Can you imagine if our water is salty? Can you imagine that? But Allah Azza wa Jal, with His grace, that Allah Azza wa Jal give us that pure water, that it will quench your taste, that will keep you living, that will keep every living thing is living. And that's the water Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned again. Even when He mentioned Jannat, He mentioned water. And even Allah Azza wa Jal even mentioned grace is mentioned water. When He mentions, subhanAllah, even adab, sometimes Allah Azza wa Jal sometimes punish people with water, with the flood. Allah Azza wa Jal, then water, Allah Azza wa Jal sometimes even direct that water wherever it goes, whoever needs it. Sometimes, and Allah Azza wa Jal sometimes, when He pour water, He pour it with qadar, with measurement. He doesn't pour the water that will flood us, and He doesn't water just that little thing, and doesn't, that's, it's not enough. Allah Azza wa Jal, with His wisdom, with His mercy, that when He sent us the water, He sent it with measurement, with with mercy, pure water, no salty. It's sufficient that animals want it, needs it, a human needs it, plants need it, the whole thing. We are needing water. That's when you look at the little cup of water. When you take that little sip of water, ponder and say, oh Allah, thank you. Oh Allah, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, أَرَأَيْتُمْ إِنْ أَصْبَحَ مَاءُكُمْ غَوْرًا فَمَنْ يَأْتِكُمْ بِمَاءٍ مَعِينٍ. Can you imagine that all this water that will come, first of all, if it's salty, can you imagine if that water will just go seep through the earth? Who's going to bring you that water? Illallah. And for that, we always will say, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. That's what Allah Azza wa Jal says. وَمَا قَدَرُ اللَّهَ حَقَّ قَدْرِهِ وَمَا شَكَرْنَا اللَّهَ حَقَّ شُكْرِهِ وَمَا ذَكَرْنَا اللَّهَ حَقَّ ذِكْرِهِ. Why? Because we take things for granted. We take that water for granted. We'd like sometimes when we go to the faucet, we open it as, to the fullest, and we waste it as if it's nothing. But we don't know that it is the essence of every single thing. Without water, we have nothing. نسأل الله العزيز القدير أن يعلمنا ما ينفعنا وأن ينفعنا بما علمنا. اللهم زدنا علما. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك اللهم لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قدرته وقضيت فإنك تقضي بالحق ولا يقضى عليك وإنه لا يعز من عاديت ولا يذل من وليت تباركت ربنا وتعاليت فلك الحمد يا ربنا على ما أنعمت به وأوليت. نستغفرك اللهم ونتوب إليك. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. قربنا لما تحبه وترضاه وابعدنا عما يغضبك يا الله. اللهم عافنا واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا واهدنا. اللهم اهدنا واهد أولادنا واهد أحبتنا واهد المسلمين جميعا. اللهم ردنا ورد أولادنا وأحبتنا وأزواجنا إلى دينك ردا جميلا ردا ترضى به عنا. اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين. أعلي كلمتي الحق والدين. اللهم كن مع أخواننا المستضعفين في كل مكان. اللهم إنا نسألك عفوك ورضاك وجنتك يا أرحم الراحمين. رب اجعلني مقيم الصلاة ومن ذريتي ربنا تقبل دعاء. رب اغفر لي ولوالدي رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا. اللهم اتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. بارك الله فيكم وجزاكم الله كل خير. بسم الله.